Okay, love. So, welcome to today's episode of the Mystics Path podcast. This week, I've been asked an amazing question in my DMs. So, I'm going to answer that question on the podcast today. And this is going to be purely channeled. I have not prepared any notes for this podcast at all. I really wanted to just drop in, open my channel for this to come through to answer this question. So, before we drop into the episode, if you have questions that you would like answering, please just DM me or drop me an email, because this is very helpful, because then I can bring your answers to the show. And if you're thinking it, then probably someone else is also thinking the exact same question. So today's question is from Emily, and her question is, actually, this is what she said. So she was in India with me last year. We both went on a retreat together with Charlotte Rowland, KC Spirit. And there was one night where we went to a party. The guru held a party at her best friend's home that was out on farmland away from the ashram. It was really incredible. It was like going to an Indian Disneyland. There was popcorn and snacks and treats and endless chai, and it was just incredible. There was people singing mantra, and we got to sit in puja, a really intimate puja, which is an Indian ritual. So anyway, this is just to give you context, because she speaks about that in her question. So her question is, I keep thinking back to our conversation at Amma's party about how you communicate with the extraterrestrial. Something I've been so curious about is, why do they want to help us? Beyond just being kind, is there a bigger reason they're interested in helping people on Earth rather than just going about their own lives? I'd genuinely love to understand more about how you see this. So I am going to respond to this. I'm going to drop in, I'll open my channel, see what wants to come through, but I am going to respond to this from my own personal perspective. So this is through my own filter of life, I guess, and what I have learned and what I've experienced and how I do connect with the galactics. So this is obviously coming through my personal lens. So just take what resonates from this episode, what resonates as truth in your body, and then leave the rest. Okay, so I just wanted to say that as we drop into this episode. And I guess just a reminder for all of you that over the next 1, 5, 10 years, being able to filter energy through your system is going to become more and more important in terms of filtering truth. So truth will feel different in your body to untruth. So this is why it's so important to be dropping into regular practices to really hone and increase your intuition and your truth radar, because there's a lot of deception in the world right now. We're seeing this all across social media right now and the news and everything that's happening in the world. Like, we've already been deceived so much. So it's going to be more important than ever for you to trust your own internal navigation system, your own inner intelligence over anything else. And I say this to you because obviously right now you're tuning into my podcast and you're wanting to receive information from me, but I still want you to filter everything I say through your own system, because the greatest teacher of them all is you. Okay? So just wanted to start with that. Okay, so why do the extraterrestrials want to help us? Okay, so this is my understanding, that Earth is one of the greatest schools in the entire universe. So obviously there's so many planets, there are so many star systems in this universe, and then there's multiple universes, but Earth is the fastest place for a soul to ascend and grow. So it's like a fast track. You know when you go to the theme park and you can pay for fast track, and then you skip the queues and you can get on the ride quicker than anyone else? It's like that. You're fast tracking your soul growth. So when you come to Earth, you can move through so many soul lessons and so much karma so fast that at the end of this incarnation on Earth, you get really good brownie points when you head back up to source. So most souls want to come here and have a human experience because of that, because of the fast acceleration of growth. And what's on the other side of that, I don't know what that is. I just know that it's very like respected in the universe. It'd be like going to like Oxford or Cambridge or like Stanford University and being like, oh, I went to this university. Like when you come to Earth School, like it says something about you as a soul. And actually only the strongest, bravest, most courageous souls come to Earth to have this human experience because it is a challenging one. So there's some context around Earth. Also, a lot of higher beings want to come to Earth to have a human experience where they get to experience emotions. So emotions are, not many galactic races actually experience emotions like we do as humans, and the range at which we experience emotions as well. So that's just not the case for a lot of galactic races. Like a lot of them are just operating in unconditional love, or, you know, they don't have this human experience that's like a roller coaster, right? It's like up and down. We feel all the feelings. Like no human on Earth is exempt to that unless you're like a living avatar or like an ascended master in human form. But still, I think you experience some suffering. So that is why a lot of souls want to come to Earth. Okay. So Earth is this like amazing planet in our universe where all of the galactics are just super curious about Earth for these reasons. And a lot of you who are listening will be starseeds, and a lot of you will have had experiences on these other planets around the universe. Definitely, if you're listening to this episode, you've had lifetimes on other planets. So you've actually had that experience of being on those other planets, being a soul on those other planets, and kind of like looking down on Earth and being like, that's where I'm going next. And during those incarnations on other planets, you would have been learning specific skills and gifts to bring to Earth at this time. So every single human on the planet right now has signed a soul contract to come down at this point in time to support the ascension of the collective consciousness and support Mother Earth to ascend from 3D to 5D. That's why you're here. And you came here with your unique soul gifts to support in that process. Even if like there's people that are completely not aware of that or not conscious that that's why they're here, they are bringing through, like their soul is bringing through light to support that to happen, or darkness actually. Because we look around the planet right now, and actually this is an important point. Every single human on the planet right now, no matter what they're doing, is supporting the ascension of this planet into new Earth frequency. So you could be looking at some actions of particular people on the planet right now, people in power, people who are, you know, ruling countries and making big decisions for the world. You could be looking at some of these people and being like, that is a bad person. Like what they're doing is wrong. There's a lot of darkness there. And yes, there could be, but that person had a soul contract to come to this planet and play that particular role. For example, a disruptor. Their soul, their higher being was like, I'm going to come to Earth and I'm going to be the baddie that supports the world to wake up. Okay, so we have to look at every single being on this planet, every single human and every single being as God, because we are all God. We are all fractals of Source. So we all came here knowing that in our own unique way, we would support the rise of the collective consciousness through our actions. So this is really important actually, to release judgment around how you see certain people on their planet and the roles that they are playing out. Just know that from a higher perspective, that role is serving the highest good of all. Okay. Okay, I feel like that's enough context around Earth. So, with all that being said, Earth is literally like a reality TV show. So, if you imagine all of these extraterrestrials are all over the universe and they are turning on their TV every day. Well, they don't need to turn on their TV, they can just like tune in. But they're literally like, what is going on in this reality TV show that's called Earth? They're like, what are they doing down there? How are they going with their ascension? And yeah, they're watching us. So that's the first thing that I want to share. They are very fascinated by Earth. There's a lot of souls that want to come to Earth right now and be a part of this change. So like all eyes are on Earth right now. So just know that, like, there's a lot of curiosity around this planet. So that is why the extraterrestrials are interested in us, because Mother Earth has this mission as her own unique entity to ascend and evolve. And like basically all beings in the universe are aware of that. And they're like watching what's happening, like a reality TV show. So the other reason why they're so interested and curious about us is, okay, what's coming through now? Okay, so a lot of this podcast is going to be channeled, so I'll just share what's coming through. Another reason they're so interested in us is because like we have so much extraterrestrial DNA and not much of that is turned on right now. So only like biologically, scientists would say we have like a 2-strand DNA, but there is like spiritual DNA that most people are not aware of. And as we start to turn on those strands of DNA, more of our gifts will come online, like telepathy, astral projection, astral travel, just like, yeah, all these incredible psychic gifts that most people on the planet don't have access to. But we do have this DNA within us. And once it's unlocked, we'll have these extrasensory perceptions and abilities. So that's another reason they're curious, because we actually have a lot of their DNA within us, whether that's Pleiadian, reptilian. We all have reptilian DNA within us. I know like a lot of us are like, no, reptilians are bad, but like we literally have a reptilian brain, right? We have fight or flight. We have this primal response. So this is another reason they're curious about us, because we are like their children, essentially. We're like holding their DNA, and my understanding is that we are an experiment. Like our species is an experiment. So this is another reason that they're really curious about us and our evolution. And then another reason that they're interested in helping people on Earth is, well, they really want to see Earth ascend into higher states of consciousness. So, it's almost like what I'm being shown is like, this is such a sweet visual. What I'm being shown is like, when you have a school assembly, if you think back to school and you have your school assembly and like all the parents would come and like watch the school assembly, and like the parents would just be like so proud and so happy to see like you standing up on stage. It's kind of like that. Like the galactics have this, it's like they have this parental energy where they're looking out for us. And they want to make sure that I don't know, I just feel this like proud energy around it. Like they're kind of just like watching in that way. So they really do want to help us in our growth and our learning, just like a parent would, okay, or a caregiver. The other reason that they're so curious about us is because if you think about everything being energy, and you think about the entire universe, everything is energy, what happens here on Earth impacts the entire universe. Okay? So a really good example of this, and I've shared this on previous episodes, is when the Hiroshima atomic bomb went off in Japan, was dropped on Japan, that nuclear explosion sent ripples out into the universe, which actually impacted all the other planets and star systems. So the galactics, excuse my French, were like, what the fuck are they doing down on Earth? Don't normally swear on this podcast, but that felt like it needed it for the punch. The galactics were like, okay, what are they actually doing down on Earth? Like, this is, imagine something happening on another planet, and then that ripple effect comes to Earth and like completely impacts our ecosystems and our plants and our food. So it's the same in reverse, right? So when that Hiroshima bomb went off, that actually that negatively impacted other planets and star systems. So the galactics at that point were like, okay, we need to go and check on Earth. Again, it's like parents being like, what are the kids doing? Like, we need to go check on them. So after that happened, after the Hiroshima bomb, there was a lot of sightings of spaceships, of UFOs. a lot. It was like very, very heightened in that year after the bomb went off. Lots and lots of sightings because the galactics were like checking up on us, like what's happening down there, what are they doing? So something I do want to share with you, this is like a conversation I've been having behind the scenes with another soul sister, is that I know that we have a lot of nuclear arms on this planet right now, and a lot of billions and billions and billions of dollars are being funneled into creating nuclear weapons. But like the galactics will not let this happen. Like the galactics, there's no way we could go into a nuclear war. I don't think anything like Hiroshima could possibly happen again because they're so close and they're watching and they're monitoring. So if that's ever been like something that you've like been like, or like a little bit worried about, like they will intervene. So basically, the galactics have to give us free will. As a human coming to this planet, that's one thing we were given is free will. On other planets, like most other planets, they don't have free will. Like they have this like collective consciousness or this hive consciousness. And it's not like individuals don't have free will. Whereas on Earth, we have free will, which is why it's another very appealing planet to come and live on, because you can do whatever you want here. You have free will. So we have free will to do whatever we want. And the galactics basically respect that. They're like, they can do what they want up to a certain extent. Like if we're about to mess up the entire universe with what we're doing here on Earth, they will intervene. So I hope that gives you some comfort knowing that, yeah, things in the world are pretty crazy right now. There's a lot happening. Especially this week, I've been like experiencing a lot of anxiety through my body with the collective energy. And, you know, there's a lot of fear running through the collective. We're seeing a lot of war around the world. But I want you to know that like the galactics are here. Like they're aware of everything that's happening. And if it gets to a certain point, they will intervene. So this is a question I often get asked is, do you think that the galactics are going to intervene? Like, when do you think they're going to come to the planet? When do you think we're going to start connecting with them? And my answer to that is it depends on the timeline that we choose as a collective. So if we choose the timeline where we come together and we all ascend into like 5D consciousness, new Earth frequency, golden age, then they'll just be like, cool. And we'll get to a point in our collective consciousness where everyone's just aware of ETs and interdimensional beings, because you'll be experiencing them in meditation. Like just intuitively, you'll be receiving telepathic information. Just as a collective, we'll have ascended in consciousness to the point where we can easily receive that information, at which point they will invite us into like fully being a part of the Galactic Federation of Light, or just a part of it's like the Universe Council, just like us being aware that just like, you know, we have different races in different countries and people are slightly different depending on what country they're from, we'll have the same experience with just, you know what I'm being shown, like the scene from Star Wars where like they go to the bar and it's just like there's like 100 different galactic races. It's like that. We will get to that point. I don't know when that will happen, but we will get to that point. So that's one timeline. The second timeline is we feed the darkness, we go into fear, and we like manifest this timeline that's like not great. Then they will intervene. Like they'll have no choice to, because they have to protect their own species. And the Galactic Federation of Light, they are always monitoring what's happening across the entire universe. So across every single planet, they're monitoring what's happening and making sure that balance is remaining restored, like balance is remaining throughout the universe. So I hope that answers your question, Emily. That is why they're so curious and why they're not just going about their own lives. They're also aware of like all the other interdimensional beings in the universe, and those that are for the highest good, they like really do want the best for us as humanity. So that's why they have such a high level of curiosity. Okay, I'm just going to drop in and just see if there's anything else that wants to come through. I've been speaking so quickly on this podcast, so thanks for keeping up. Let me just see if there's anything else that I'm just going to call them through, actually. Okay, let's just see if there's anything else they want to share. They're literally saying just, you don't need to worry. They're saying you don't need to worry, and also they're showing me that worrying is going to like lead to the manifestation of the thing you don't want because you're feeding that energy. So they're literally saying like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. I'm just going to see if they want to share anything about connecting with them. That's funny. Okay. I am going to be holding an event in Sydney this year. So they were like, just go to Susie's event. But if you can't come to Sydney, that's probably going to be in April. So I haven't finalized that, you guys, but like I can feel they really want me to hold an in-person experience in Sydney this year. So they've already shown me some things around that. So if you are in Sydney or you're around the east coast of Australia, there'll be something coming soon. And then there's also the Starseed Retreat, which is at the end of May in Bali. That's 5 nights. And if you really want to connect with your galactic brothers and sisters and interdimensional beings, like the energy I feel around that retreat is actually insane. Like I'm not even sure if there are other things that there's been other experiences on the planet that like, okay, I'm being told not to share anymore. If you feel the call to be on that retreat, trust that, because the gathering of the souls who've already gathered and said yes to that, it's like very strong new earth leadership energy. So if you feel the call, trust it, because like you're here to be a big part of the change and you're meant to be on this retreat. So you can just DM me about that retreat, and every day we'll be connecting with the galactics. So that's the best way to learn about them, is come and sit in ceremony with people who are tuning into the energy, seeing things, and we'll be sharing what they're channeling through. So anyway, coming back, okay, what is a way that they can do this by not attending one of my events? Although obviously I'd love you at my events. Okay, let me just tune into this. Okay, they're just saying tune in, and you can just set the intention. They're also mentioning Dr. Stephen Greer. So if you're not aware of Dr. Stephen Greer's work, just Google him and have a look at him on Instagram. Actually, just Google him and find him on Instagram, because he has a method for open contact. So if you're really serious about wanting to connect, he holds events all around the world, and also he teaches a technique of how to connect, which I've not learned from him, but I don't know, my guides are just telling me to redirect some of you there. So some of you will just have a soul contract to work with him. Okay, loves. That's everything. Thanks so much, Emily, for this awesome question. This has been so fun for me to channel and, yeah, I guess share my own perspective of how I see things and what I believe and what I've learned. And yeah, when I tune into the energy, those are all the things that I feel of why they're so curious about us. So I'll complete there, loves. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I will see you next week. And just to reiterate again, if you have questions about anything related to galactic, spirituality, energy, priestess energy, goddess, like, specific higher energies that you are curious about, please just message me, because this podcast is a co-creation between us. And I really, really, really appreciate your questions, and I really appreciate you tuning in. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and until next time, take care of yourself.